How's it going, everyone? Whiplashthesnake here, and I know we've been covering a lot of fucking heavy shit on this channel lately, and I know we need to take a break. We need to just go back into life stories. We need to go into just lighter stuff that doesn't really contain with YouTube drama. So I decided, since I just ordered some new stuff for this channel, I ordered a new microphone, I ordered an art tablet so I can start drawing random stuff, you know, work on my comics a little bit more, you know, not have them as shitty, because I've been drawing with a mouse and I don't know how to draw with a mouse to save my life. So I decided, let's just sit back, relax, you know, play some CSGO, record it, maybe just say a life story. And I know this is going to look laggy as fuck on the thing. I mean, my QuickTime when it records stuff, it likes to record it at like 20 frames a second, so it just, and it even lags the game while I'm playing. Yeah, I mean, this is some cringy content right here. This is some really cringy gameplay, I'm not gonna lie. I do fucking terrible on this, and this is like, welcome to the cringiest CSGO player in the world, but, I mean, what are you gonna do? I suck at FPS games anyway, so it wasn't gonna be that much better even if it wasn't lagging. But that out of the way, let's get right into the life story, which if you didn't get from the title, it's going to be about a recent plane trip that I had like a few years ago, and it was on the way back from Germany to the US. But a little bit of backstory before this entire thing gets started. Me and my mom decided to go out to Germany for school break time, and we took a week, went out to Germany, went out, saw Munich, saw a bunch of stuff. We saw just a bunch of crazy stuff. It was great. I mean, we had a fun time there. We saw so many like castles and churches. We saw like a salt mine, like a concentration camp, a bunker. You know, World War II shit. You know, the stuff that has a really dark history, but you know, whatever, it was cool to see. And so our entire trip out there, everything went great. We went through all the hotels. We went with public transportation through everything. Everyone was great. Everyone was really, really nice. You know, we tried to speak a little bit of German. We studied a little bit before we went out there, but as soon as we opened our mouths, people knew we were American, so they started speaking English. So, I mean, I'm genuinely sorry for butchering your language. But, you know, after that entire week was up, it was time for us to go home. So we get all of our stuff, go onto like a train, and head back to the airport. And so we get there, everything's cool, everything's fine. We're just like sitting there on our phones and everything, just like looking at some stuff, you know, using the free Wi-Fi that's at the airport. You know, just killing time as we wait for our plane. And if you have to know anything about my mom, like at all, she fucking hates flying. Like, I'm not kidding, that shit genuinely terrifies her. She will, like, literally dig her nails into your arm just holding on to you when the plane is taking off because it scares her so much. And usually when she flies, she has to go with a family member because if she doesn't have someone to grab onto, well, I mean, she's grabbing onto whoever the stranger is next to her, and that's not always the best situation. But so, we board the plane, we're getting ready and everything, find our seats, sit down, we're getting comfortable, you know, put all of our stuff away, getting ready to take off. The plane starts rolling, the little in-flight safety video comes on, and then we take off. And already the claws are in my arms, so it's just like, great. Just, I'm used to it at this point. We had already experienced it about 3 times just on the trip there. So everything for the most part is pretty good at this point. You know, we're climbing slowly, the little video ends, and we're basically strapped in for a 14-hour flight over the ocean back to America. And so me and my mom decided not to sleep. We decided that it was going to be a good thing for us to just sleep on the plane, you know, skip a lot of that shit, and then just, like, be awake when we get back to the US. So we reached 10,000 feet, and, you know, this is at the point where you're just coasting, and my mom a little bit, she relaxes at that point. She gets a little bit more comfortable, she'll, like, retract the claws a little bit, and you won't have things stabbing you, and everything is good. But so, I decided to look over at the other people that are in the plane, and I look over to the people directly across from us, and they're like looking up at the ceiling, like pointing and everything and calling a stewardess over. And so, you know, I wasn't really worried until the stewardess started looking extremely scared. She like was looking up at the ceiling as well and was like freaking out, and she like ran back up to the front of the plane. Which, you know, when you're locked in for a 14-hour plane ride, that's not the kind of reaction you want from one of the plane's staff. So I'm like shifting in my chair a little bit, like, alright, you know, maybe something just isn't right over there, maybe their air isn't working or something. And really, basically, I tried to ignore it. But then I figured out, very suddenly, why they were staring at the ceiling and why they were pointing at it, and also now why they were covering their heads with pillows. And during this entire time, my mom just wasn't aware of it. She was in her own world, you know, trying to calm herself down, trying to relax. But then, suddenly, just on top of both of us, water from up in the ceiling starts to pour down right on top of our heads from the overhead compartments. And both of us immediately freaked out. We were calling the attendants over. They came quickly running up to us, and they saw that that same thing that was happening to the people across from us was happening to both us as well. And at this point, everyone around us in the plane was seeing that, you know, the plane is fucking leaking on top of passengers, which is not a normal thing to happen. So everyone in the plane is starting to freak out. But so the attendants give us some pillows to cover our heads as well, you know, because we don't want to be drenched by a fucking water park inside of our airplanes. And then without even telling us anything, they quickly start opening up every single overhead compartment. And very publicly start going through everyone's stuff, you know, looking for anything that might be causing this leak. And at this point, everyone in the plane is just watching this entire thing going down. They're watching us get our heads drenched. They're watching the people going through all the luggage and everything. You know, we don't know what's going on at this point. We're just all freaking out. Like we didn't know if there was something wrong with the plane or if, like, I mean, there was even a terrorist attack happening, God forbid. But, you know, after about, like, 5 minutes of searching, they close all of the compartments and go back up to the front of the plane to, you know, talk to the pilot. And, you know, during this entire time, we're still getting rained on the entire time. Just water's dripping on our heads, and we have no idea what it is. We don't know if it's water. We don't know if it's something else. We don't know if it's gasoline. Well, I mean, we would smell if it was gasoline, but, you know, we don't know what it is. So a few minutes pass, and the leaking finally starts to stop, and the stewardess comes back to us and asks, like, oh, is it still raining on you guys here? And we're like, yeah, I mean, it is. And she apologizes to us and everything and says, like, we're so sorry about this entire thing. We're sorry for freaking you guys out, you know, with water coming on your guys' head as you're trying to take off for a 14-hour plane ride. And so we're just, like, still scared. Like, we don't know what this stuff is. So we ask her, like, what happened with the plane? What is this? Why is it leaking on us? And so the story she tells us is she thought that maybe, you know, someone left a water ball inside their suitcase at first, and it, like, popped because of the expansion when they were taking off. But when they looked through the luggage, they found nothing. And so, you know, they went to the pilot and talked to him and found out that, you know, during the time when they were on the ground, the plane never defrosted properly, and so it was probably melting when we were taking off, and it just decided to pour out there. But she explained it really well, and she helped calm us down a little bit. I mean, we were freaked out for the rest of the plane ride because, you know, we thought that the plane was just gonna fall in half, you know, Final Destination style. But, you know, she gave us some free alcohol, you know, to try and get us drunk so that we forget about it, but, you know. But so it didn't leak on us the entire rest of the ride, and, you know, we landed back in the US, got off the plane, and sat inside of, like, a Philadelphia airport, waiting to take the rest of the plane ride back to our state. And, you know, the plane that we were supposed to take for that, you know, broke down 3 times before we were able to board it. So, I mean, that was great. But, you know, that was the end of the story, guys. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. I would love a new addition to the Snake Army. Make sure you share this video around. Tell your friends about my channel. I would really appreciate you guys. But, you know, I hope you enjoyed this story. If you liked it, just let me know. I have a bunch more stories. If you want me to tell more of them, just, like, tell me. That being said, everyone, that was today's video. I will see you guys on the next one. Whiplash signing out.